In today's video, the best way to use cheat meals to reach your goals. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. Happy Friday, and I'm back with a video about the idea of a cheat meal. I want to talk about where this idea came from, how we can use it to our advantage, and how can we implement it in a system where we want to lose weight, reach our goals, look our best. Because the term cheat meal is probably as common a lore as there is when it comes to diet culture, when it comes to losing weight, when it comes to a weight loss plan. A lot of people will ask, well, do you get a cheat meal? Is there a reward in there? So let's talk about all of that. And if you like this type of information around an evidence-based approach from a coach on how to reach the physique of your dreams, hit subscribe. And today's question comes from right here on my Instagram direct message. So if you guys want to send me, and girls want to send me questions, go to my Instagram direct message and let's do that. I'm going to read it now, and then we're just going to discuss the details of the question. So it says, hey Paul, I'm a subscriber and I love your YouTube videos. I have a question about cheat meals, cheat days. What is the best way to plan a cheat meal or cheat day? Should we track the cheat meal? What to do if the cheat meal happens unplanned and if we overeat? So there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm going to break this down question by question. Okay, what is the best way to plan a cheat meal or cheat day? Now, this comes down mostly to your goals. If you want to include something like a cheat day, I as a coach who coach people using a flexible dieting approach, I don't really like the term cheat meal. It implies that you're doing something wrong. And a lot of people have a very binary approach, a very black and white approach to dieting. They're either on and good or they're off and bad. And a lot of people, if you tell them they can have a cheat meal or they can go do whatever they want, they think, well, tomorrow I'm getting back on the good. I'm back on the binary side of this where I'm gonna be listening to my diet. Well, then they'll tend to overeat, thinking I gotta get it all in now. Whereas, if we use this term, if you replace the term cheat meal with free meal, it really just implies that you got a little freedom. And for me, especially someone who's dieted down many times, what I like about the free meal is not necessarily that it's something that I wouldn't typically get, like a burger and fries. That's definitely a nice, enjoyable part of it. It's actually the mental break. It's when you're dieting and getting down to shredded, competition lean, photo shoot lean, most of us, my clients, are going to be tracking our macros on a daily basis. And that means you're gonna eat your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your fourth meal, your fifth meal, your snacks, whatever you eat, you're gonna be plugging it into either an app or an Excel spreadsheet, whatever makes you happiest to reach your goals. Sometimes that becomes tedious. And one of the things I like about a free meal is that I tell my clients, you don't have to track it. Now that does not mean it's a free-for-all. I typically suggest a free meal or a cheat meal, however you want to phrase it, be used as something that you crave and something that you look forward to eating. However, it should not be an excuse to just go off the rails. As an example, man, coach, I've really been craving sushi during this process. Would it be okay if I had a sushi free meal? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to replace what you would typically have for meal 3 with you going out with your spouse, your friends, having some sushi, and let's see how you respond. Now, sushi is typically very high in sodium because you're putting the soy sauce and those kind of things on it. So you might be up on the scale for a day or two after that. But guess what? If you just go back to your previous diet, the scale comes back down, you start making progress again. Now, you've had the freedom of having something that you enjoy. It's kind of off your mind. You don't feel like you're, depriving yourself so much, and you're making progress. Learning how to fit food into your diet that allows the diet to continue longer and to remain more consistent, well, that is the idea of the cheat meal. I've seen the old diets from years ago where they would really, really restrict your food choices, restrict your calories, and include a cheat meal. The idea being, if we know we have a reward coming, we can do just about anything. I think we think of this in other terms of life. If you think about people that work really hard at their job and don't make a lot of money, but they know if they work really hard, they have the potential to get a promotion and make more money. So you're willing to work hard to get that carrot on the stick. And that's where the cheat meal comes from. Hey, we're gonna crush the diet this week, and at the end, you get a cheat meal. But if we replace that with the idea that if you work really hard, you get a free meal, or if you track your macros, you can just include the foods that you enjoy. And that's ultimately what I would much rather you see. If you're in a diet approach right now, that you can't see yourself doing for the next 6 months or next few years, it's probably not the right approach. Now, when it comes to flexible dieting and tracking macros, that's not something you need to do for the rest of your life. Tracking macros is basically an education. You look at the food, you learn how many protein, carbs, fats, fibers, micronutrients, things are in the food, and you learn to incorporate things that you enjoy with a balance of what allows you to hit your numbers and make progress towards your goals. Your second question was, should we track a cheat meal? And honestly, I'm gonna have to say no here. Now, I do have some of my competitors go out and eat things like a hamburger and french fries, or maybe a Chipotle bowl where we're kind of eating some rice and stuff like that the night before a show. And I'll have them track it, but because it's data, I wanna know what they ate, how much they ate, and then we're gonna track it the next day as data so we can learn from it. However, in the context here of a lifestyle client where we're trying to just enjoy the cheat meal or the free meal, I think tracking it, for me personally, and this is what I would tell my clients, it's the mental freedom. You're going out with your friends, you're going out with your family, you're going out with your wife, your sisters, whoever you're going out with, they are going to be eating with you in a social situation, and it's just freedom. It just feels good to go out and eat and not have to weigh out your food, and that is part of it. So I don't think that tracking it should be a part of your plan. Now, what do we do if our cheat meal isn't planned? How do we respond to that? And the one thing I want to do here is ensure that we get away from the binge restrict. We get away from the overeat, over exercise approach. The first thing I tell my clients when this happens is, hey, everyone's human. We're just gonna get back on track. We're not gonna add cardio. We're not gonna reduce calories by a bunch. We're just gonna get back on track. Now, if you overeat, if I overeat and I'm not in contest prep or I'm not dieting down, if my friends or family or somebody I know overeats a certain day, guess what happens naturally the next day? You're less hungry, right? So depends on where you're at with this, but most people in a situation where they eat a lot of food, the next day they might be like, oh, I'm not even hungry for breakfast because I had such a big dinner. That's a pretty normal part of hunger signals. And if you pay attention to that, on a day when you overeat, have an untracked unplanned cheat day or meal, well, the next day, you can just kind of try to eat normal based on your hunger signals, okay? But I would not get into a situation where you go, it's okay to eat a bunch of calories because all I have to do is work my butt off the next 2 days to get back down to where I was. And then you can create this binge restrict cycle. And that's something that we don't want to see as a part of the culture, because eventually it just becomes binge. You get to the point where you're unable to restrict. This is where we can see some rapid body fat regain. And really ultimately, what's the most effective way for us to be successful at our diet? And that is going to be consistency. So that's going to be including things that work best for you. It's important that you don't listen to everybody, not even just me. You need to listen to yourself. Why? Because what's going to be successful for you, you are a very unique individual, psychologically, physiologically. So you might have people tell you like, hey, I lost all this weight and I did a keto diet. Well, I've had people tell me they tried the keto diet and they absolutely hated it. Was one of those people wrong? No, they did what was right for them. And that's what we got to find. We got to find the best approach, the most sustainable approach for you. Does that include a cheat meal or a free meal? The best way is to try it and find out. I would, however, suggest that you plan it based around something that you crave and try to make it an enjoyable situation, something that you can do socially so that you're getting some benefits, because sometimes when you're dieting, you don't get to be as socially interactive as you would want to be. So maybe you plan your cheat meal, free meal around just going to an event, and maybe you even make it a healthy meal. Maybe you even get like a salad and some chicken and something that you would consider probably part of your normal diet. You just don't track it and you get to be social. Okay, so that's how we handle cheats for success. All right, guys, happy Friday. The weather here in Florida is amazing. I'm excited about this weekend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.